Every love story has a hero, a villain, and someone who gets their heart broken. But Cocktail 2 isn't that kind of story because by the time credits roll, no one really wins. Some people blame Ali, some blame Kunal, others believe Diya created her own tragedy. But after watching the film carefully, I realized something. Maybe we have been asking the wrong question. The question isn't who was right. The real question is why did everyone make the choices they made? Because when you separate intentions from actions and actions from consequences, the story becomes far more heartbreaking than it first appears. And then, beneath this love triangle, is a tragedy about trust, honesty, and what it truly means to choose someone. This is the last piece. Dia, the woman who never wanted to be chosen out of obligation. At first, Dia seems like the obvious victim, the fiancée, the woman who gets caught between two people slowly falling in love. But I don't think that's what defines her. What defines Dia is one simple desire. She doesn't just want to marry Kunal, she wants him to choose her. Not because he promised, not because he feels responsible, not because walking away would hurt her, but because she's the woman he truly loves. And that's an important difference. Because throughout the film, Dia never appears interested in winning a competition. She's searching for certainty. She wants to know whether Kunal is with her because his heart is with her or because he feels obligated to stay. And that's where one of the film's biggest misunderstandings begins. Many viewers criticize Diya for asking Ali to get close to Kunal. They call it manipulation, a trap, or proof that she never trusted him. And they are not completely wrong because healthy relationships aren't built on secret tests. If you have to create situations just to find out whether your partner truly loves you, the relationship already has cracks. Communication would have been the healthier choice. So, yes, Divya makes a mistake, but I don't think that mistake comes from insecurity alone. It comes from fear, not the fear of losing Kunal, but the fear that she has already lost him and doesn't know it yet. There is a subtle difference. She's not asking, will Kunal cheat on me? She's asking, is Kunal staying with me because he wants to or because he feels he has to? That's a much deeper question. And as the story unfolds, something remarkable happens. When Diya begins to realize that Kunal may have genuine feelings for Ali, she doesn't react with hatred. She doesn't try to destroy Ali. She doesn't manipulate Kunal into staying. Instead, she does something incredibly painful. She begins considering the possibility of letting him go. Think about that. Most people in her position would fight to save the relationship at any cost. Diya doesn't. Because for her, love only has value if it's freely given. If Kunal's heart truly belongs to someone else, she would rather lose him than spend a lifetime wondering whether he stayed only because he couldn't bear hurting her. That's why, out of the three main characters, I believe Diya has the purest intentions. Her methods aren't perfect, testing someone's loyalty is never the healthiest solution, but her motivation is surprisingly selfless. She wants Kunal to be happy, even if that happiness doesn't include her. And that's what makes the ending so tragic. Because if my interpretation is correct, Diya spends the entire film trying to avoid one thing, being chosen out of guilt, out of responsibility, out of sympathy, out of obligation. She wants love, nothing less. But by the final act, The film leaves us with a painful question: did Diya actually get what she wanted? Or did she receive the very thing she feared most? Because Kunal's final decision doesn't feel completely driven by certainty. It feels complicated, burdened, almost as if he's choosing the path that hurts the fewest people. And if that's true, then Diya never truly receives the answer she's been searching for. She receives commitment but not certainty, a promise but not complete reassurance, a fiancé but perhaps not a man whose heart chooses her without hesitation. And that changes everything. Because maybe Diya didn't lose Kunal the day he fell for Ali. Maybe she lost him the moment she began wondering whether his love was still freely given. And once that question entered their relationship, no answer could ever feel completely enough. Next chapter, Kunal, the man who said, if I was cheating, I would plan better. But was he telling the truth? Or did he end up betraying Diya in a way far more difficult to admit? Kunal, the man who couldn't choose. There are villains, and then there are people who become the villain simply because they refuse to make a decision. I don't think Kunal is evil. I don't even think he's a bad person. I think he's the most conflicted character in the film. And that's exactly what makes him so dangerous, because sometimes people don't hurt others because they are cruel, they hurt them because they keep delaying the truth. When we first met Kunal, his love for Diya doesn't feel fake. He laughs with her, he dreams with her, he wants to build a future with her. Nothing about those moments suggests he's pretending. I genuinely believe Kunal loved Diya, but somewhere along the journey, something changes. He meets Ale. What begins as friendship slowly becomes emotional dependence, then emotional comfort, then something neither of them planned: love. And here is something many people struggle to accept: falling in love with someone unexpectedly isn't automatically a moral failure. Human emotions don't always ask for permission. You can't always control who your heart responds to, but you can control what to do next. And that's where Kunal begins to fail. Instead of asking himself, who do I truly want to spend my entire life with? He keeps asking, who will get hurt if I leave? Those are two completely different questions. One is about truth, the other is about guilt. And the longer he avoids answering his first, the more damage he causes trying to avoid the second. Kunal becomes trapped between three forces: his love for Diya, his growing feelings for Ale, and the responsibility he feels toward the woman he promised to marry. Instead of confronting that conflict honestly, he tries to carry all three. But no one can carry three hearts without breaking at least one. Eventually, he breaks all of them. There is another moment in the film that becomes deeply ironic by the end. Kunal confidently says something along the lines of, if I was cheating, I would plan it better. At first, that sounds like reassuring. It's almost playful, as if he's saying, I'm not that kind of man. But by the end of the film, that line takes on a completely different meaning. Because here is the uncomfortable question: does cheating only begin the moment two people kiss? Or it can begin much earlier, when someone else becomes the first person you want to talk to, when you began hiding conversations, when emotional intimacy shifts away from your partner, when your heart quietly starts living somewhere else while your commitment stays behind. That's why some people describe Kunal's actions as emotional cheating. Not necessarily because of one night, but because of everything that happened before it. And the saddest part, he knows something is changing. He knows his feelings are no longer simple. He knows Diya deserves answers, yet he says nothing. Every day he remains silent. Diya continues planning a future that Kunal himself is no longer certain about. That's where his greatest mistake lies. Not in falling in love, but in delaying honesty. Then comes the line that, for me, represents everything wrong with his journey. I will never tell you about that night. Think about that for a moment. The woman you're about to marry has one question, the question keeping her awake at night, the one question that determines whether she can trust you, and your response is, I will never tell you. Why? Why shouldn't she ask? If your relationship can survive the truth, tell it. If it can't survive the truth, then perhaps it shouldn't have survived at all. Because marriage isn't built on unanswered questions, it's built on complete honesty. Imagine if Kunal had said something different, ask me everything, I'll tell you the complete truth. And after that, you decide whether you still want to marry me. That would have been painful, maybe even devastating, but I would have respected Diya's right to make an informed choice. Instead, he asks for trust without transparency, commitment without closure, forgiveness without confession, and that's not emotional maturity, that's emotional avoidance. Here is what I think Kunal was really fighting: not love, not loyalty, responsibility. He genuinely cared about Diya. He didn't want to destroy her world. He didn't want to become the man who broke her heart. But caring for someone and being in love with someone aren't always the same thing. Sometimes we stay because we feel guilty. Sometimes we stay because we made a promise. Sometimes we stay because leaving feels cruel. But none of those answers tell us where the heart truly belongs. And that's the question Kunal never fully answers. By the ending, the film tells us who Kunal chooses, but it never clearly tells us why. Was it love? Was it guilt? Was it responsibility? Was it fear? Or was it simply the safest decision? After everyone had already been hurt, that's why the ending feels incomplete. Not because he chooses Diya, but because we never fully understand whether he chooses her with his heart or with his conscience. And that's the greatest tragedy of Kunal's character. He spends the entire film trying not to hurt anyone, yet, by refusing to make one honest decision, he hurts everyone. Diya loses certainty, Ellie loses hope, and Kunal loses his integrity, because sometimes the hardest truth is kinder than the easiest lie. But Kunal is only one piece of the story, because none of these could have happened without Ali, the woman many viewers call the villain. But is she really? Or is her story even more complicated than we think? Ali, the woman who crossed the line. If Diya represents unconditional love, Kunal represents emotional conflict, then Ali represents contradiction. Not because she falls in love, but because of what she chooses to do after she realizes she has. When we were introduced to Ali, she seems emotionally independent. She doesn't believe in fairy tales. She doesn't believe in forever. She doesn't believe that love has to last a lifetime. She's a kind of person who appears comfortably walking away rather than becoming emotionally dependent on anyone. It's a refreshing introduction. She feels different, confident, self aware, almost guarded. But as the story progresses, that version of Ali slowly disappears. She began spending more time with Kunal. What starts as friendship becomes emotional closeness, then attraction, then love. Again, falling in love isn't the problem. Just like Kunal, she doesn't choose the moment her feelings began, but she does choose what happens next, and that's where everything changes. Because once Ali realizes she has feelings for her best friend's fiancé, she has a choice. She can step back, create distance, protect her friendship, or she can continue getting closer, hoping that somehow life will solve the problem for her. She chooses the second path. And that's the decision that changes how many people see her character. Instead of creating boundaries, she stays. She hides her feelings. She continues participating in the wedding. She remains close to Diya. She remains close to Kunal. She hopes, she waits, she chases, and every day the truth becomes harder to tell. Then comes another important contradiction. At different points, Ali isn't completely honest. She lies first to Kunal, later to Diya, not because she's evil, but because honesty would force everyone to face reality. Instead, silence becomes easier, secrets become easier, avoidance becomes easier until none of it is. There is another criticism that many viewers have of the writing itself. The film introduces Ali as someone who doesn't believe in forever, someone who doesn't chase commitment, someone who protects her independence. Yet later, she spends much of the story emotionally pursuing Kunal. Could people change? Of course, love changes people every day, but the film never fully shows how the transformation happens. Instead, it jumps from I don't believe in forever to I can't let him go without giving enough emotional development in between. That's why some viewers don't see growth, they feel inconsistency. Personally, I think Ali would have become an even stronger character if she would made one different choice. Imagine she told Kunal, I love you, but you are engaged until you decide honestly what you want. I'm walking away. That one decision would have protected her dignity, protected Diya, and forced Kunal to finally make the choice he had been avoiding. Instead, everyone remains trapped inside uncertainty. Now, here is the twist. Throughout this entire story, people keep asking who is the villain? Was it Dia for creating the test? Was it Ali for falling in love? Was it Kunal for being emotionally unfaithful? I don't think that's the real question because none of these characters wake up wanting to destroy someone else's life. The real villain is delayed honesty. Think about it. If Kunal had been honest, if Ale had stepped away, the emotional bond wouldn't have grown deeper. If everyone had confronted reality instead of postponing it, the heartbreak would have been painful, but it wouldn't have been prolonged. The tragedy wasn't love, the tragedy was silence. Yeah, the one person who wanted the least yet lost the most. She wasn't asking to win, she wasn't asking to possess Kunal, she was asking to be chosen freely, completely, without guilt, without obligation, without responsibility. She wanted certainty. Instead, the ending gives her something else commitment without complete clarity, because Kunal never truly explains what happened that night. He asks her to move forward without giving her every answer she deserves. And that's heartbreaking because trust isn't rebuilt by avoiding difficult conversations, it's rebuilt by having them. Why the ending doesn't fully work. This is why the ending feels emotionally incomplete, not because Kunal chooses Diya, but because the film never clearly shows why. Did he realize Diya was always the love of his life? Did he choose her because he couldn't bear hurting her? Was it guilt, responsibility, love, fear? The film never gives us a definitive answer. And because of that, Diya never receives the one thing she wanted more than marriage: certainty. The ending I wish we would have seen. If Kunal truly loved Ali more deeply, I think the honest ending would have been different. Kunal sits down with Diya. He tells her everything, every feeling, every mistake, every truth. Then he says, I'm sorry, I never wanted to hurt you, but I have fallen in love with someone else, and you deserve someone whose heart never hesitates to choose you. Diya is devastated, but she understands something she's understood from the very beginning. Love cannot be forced, so she lets him go, not because it doesn't hurt, but because she refuses to spend the rest of her life wondering whether she was chosen or simply kept. Only after that honesty, only after that closure, would Kunal and Ali begin their relationship, not built on secrets but on truth. It would still be tragic, it would still break hearts, but everyone would keep their dignity. Maybe the saddest part of Cocktail 2 isn't that three people fell in love, it's that three good people made one terrible mistake. They waited too long to tell the truth. Diya loses certainty, Kunal loses integrity, Ali loses the moral clarity she once seemed to possess. No one walks away victorious because this was never a story about choosing between two women. It was a story about what happens when honesty arrives too late. Every headline leaves behind a question, every question leaves behind a clue, and sometimes the most heartbreaking endings aren't the ones where love disappears. They are the ones where no one can ever be sure if love was enough. Maybe the final choice wasn't the ending, maybe the reason behind the choice was the last piece.